Hi, I'm Tracey Fisher. Welcome to Re-Entry Point of View. I'm sitting here with my good friend, Tracey Syphax from out of Trenton, New Jersey. This gentleman right here, I am a mirror image of him as far as the work ethics that he put in the community. And I'm proud to have you sitting here with me.
Proud to be here, brother.
My man,
Yes, sir.
I've been watching you. I've been following you.
We're watching you too.
He's been doing a lot of things. This brother, every time I bring something to the table, this gentleman right here, he's always on board with it. And especially if you can duplicate. Especially if you can say, he say, well, wait a minute, I can use that over here in Jersey. And whenever I have an event, he shows up. Whenever he has an event, I shows up. No questions asked. He has an entrepreneur thing going on in the community, which I allow him to talk about. But I'm just so excited that he's here. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you the show. I don't never hand my show over to nobody. But tell everybody who you are.
Well, you know, when you hand it over to me, Tracy, you put it in good hands. You know,
Oh, man.
brother that's come from the same place that you come from, we understand what this thing is all about. So I definitely thank you for the opportunity to be here. And just like you opened up, man, it's, you know, I'm in New Jersey, you in here in Philadelphia. There's no use of trying to duplicate something that's already been successful. When you came out, example, when you came out with proclaiming June as Re-Entry Month here in Philadelphia, we said, no, we're going to do the same thing in New Jersey. And then we end up doing about 6 other different cities.
Absolutely.
And then this year, we're going to try to do at least 15 or 20 different cities across this country, proclaiming June as Re-Entry Month. And that's all started here in Philadelphia with you coming to me with an idea and a thought
Absolutely.
of how we can raise awareness. So I'm honored, man. I'm honored to partner with you. To do some of the things that's going to help our brothers and sisters that are coming home, because just like you recognize, I recognize that these are smart on crime initiatives.
Right.
This is how we reduce violence and gun violence in our neighborhood. We give people second chances, and we give them opportunities to properly reintegrate back into society with dignity and respect. Now, as far as me, as you know, came home from jail in 1993, got a job, worked my way up from labor to foreman, to mechanic, to supervisor, all in 2.5 years. Attended the Million Man March in 1995. One of the things Minister Farrakhan said, if you didn't have a job, the charge was to go back to your community and create one. I came back to my community and created my first business 6 months after the Million Man March. Grew that to $1 million enterprise, started another company in Trenton, a real estate development company, amassed millions of dollars worth of real estate in and around my community. One of only second private citizens to build my house in the city of Trenton, because I wanted to operate and I wanted to live there also. I wanted people to see me as that one child that grew up in the streets, 17 years in the streets, but grew up out of that and became successful and was able to do that right in the same city that he was raised in. So it was a great honor to do that. As I move along now, I've been in business for, as you know, for 22 years now. We've done a lot on the advocacy side when it comes to reentry. 2014, I was honored at the White House out of unprecedented 900 nominees throughout the country. I was one of 12 champions of change for the work that we do on reentry and employment. Because I believe employment gave me the opportunity that I need to do everything that I'm doing today. Everything. It was just that one job. Somebody gave me a chance, and I took advantage of that chance. And just like so many other brothers and sisters that are coming home from prison, they just want that opportunity. And if we give them that opportunity, they're going to take it and run with it. They're going to appreciate it. They're going to hold on to it tight, and they're going to make it work. But then you have some folks that are not going to do that. But you have that in people that have been to prison and people that haven't been to prison. But if we take that chance and give folks like me and you those opportunities, we take full advantage of it. So I've been taking advantage of it for 22 years now. We've worked on a number of initiatives. We started with the White House. Actually, this year we started out with 30 businesses last year. When we met with the White House last year, we created the Fair Chance Business Pledge. When we started out with 30 businesses throughout the country, we have over 300 businesses, including Uber, Google, Hershey, all these businesses that agreed to come on board and took the pledge to hire returning citizens and give them a second look and give them an opportunity. So all those things we've been able to do, you know, as we've given this opportunity to not only have a platform on a national stage, but particularly mainly in New Jersey, where I live and breathe every day. So I believe in what you're doing. I know you believe in what I'm doing. And together, me, you, and folks from across this country are going to change the face of reentry and show folks what it really looks like.
Absolutely. Also, you're an author now, am I correct?
Oh yes, yes, that's another thing. You know, I wrote a book titled "From the Block to the Boardroom."
What's that about?
From the Block to the Boardroom is basically my life story. You know, 17 years spent in the city of Trenton, some of the toughest streets. The city as a drug dealer and a drug addict. 7 years in prisons, in some of the toughest prisons in the state of New Jersey. A year in solitary confinement. You know, I wanted to tell my story in a book. I wanted to tell how I was able to go from the block to the boardroom. I was able to take all that knowledge I learned, because I did learn knowledge, trust me. In the streets, you learn some stuff too. You learn how to operate a business. I learned everything that I learn now and that I do now, I take from the streets. I know about customers, I know about product, I know about marketing. So I took all those things I learned in the streets and turned them around to something positive and created a couple $1 million business.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to tell them from the block to the boardroom.
Absolutely, you did a documentary though, right? What was the name of that?
We have a couple of documentaries out.
The one I just saw out Trenton, which was
The one,
excellent.
yeah,
That
the one,
one. What was
that Incarcerating Us is a documentary that was put together a couple of years ago by a production company called Life Is My Movie. And it tells the tale of 3 participants, me, Carolyn LaChoy, who was a CNN hero for the work that she do in reentry and going into the prisons in Virginia and filming our brothers and sisters that are in prison and taking that film and taking it to the families. So people that are being locked up and shipped to Texas and shipped to Arizona and they don't get to see their family for years, she's going into the prison and recording them and taking that video straight to the family and let the family have an opportunity to hear from their father, hear from their mother. So she's in there. Amy Pulver, who was charged with a conspiracy, got close to 30 years in jail for a conspiracy that she wasn't even involved with. Her husband, who ran it, ended up getting 3 years probation because he ratted, some folks out. But she ended up spending she ended up having close to a 30-year sentence. Her sentence was pardoned by then President Clinton. So she's also in the film. So, the 3 participants, me and the 2 ladies, we tell our story. We tell our story of how we were into that life, how we were able to come out of it with certain circumstances. And the documentary is a great documentary, and people can check out the trailer. You can go to YouTube and look and put in Incarcerating Us and check the trailer out. Or you can go to my website at WWF as in Frank, T as in Tom, B as in Boyd, the number 2, T as in Tom, B as in Boyd.com, and look at the trailer. It's a great documentary, very educational. But I recommend that everyone who has a interest in reentry to have a look at that documentary.
Well, also, you have how many children do you have?
Wow, I got 3.
3. How many grandchildren?
2.
Now I asked that question because I have 4 and 9 grands, and I know the important role that they play in my life every single day.
Oh, absolutely.
How does that make you feel to know that they can call you at any given time and ain't no 15-minute phone call or waiting for a letter from the guard, the mailman to bring to you?
Oh, absolutely. Being and coming from where I've come from, Tracey, we've been on the other end of those phone calls. We've been on the other end of those visits behind that glass. So me and you understand what that feels like and what that means. To be in a position now, to be home doing the right thing, and to be able to properly take care of my kids, to properly educate my kids, to give my granddaughters, what they desire and what they need in life to be successful. I think it's the ultimate thing for me. My kids are everything to me, and my thing is to make sure that I leave them with a better life than I had.
Absolutely, I'm big on that legacy. I am very big on that. How does it feel that you're in a position to be able to give returning citizens a job?
Oh, Tracey, if as you know, I'm in the construction business.
Absolutely.
And I tell people all the time, I started out as a roofer. It is not my desire to stay a roofer. It was never my desire to go in business as a roofer. You know what I mean? But it was just a profession that I chose, and it was what I used to propel me to where I am today. But my life work and what I feel my purpose is what we're doing here today. Is in reentry and helping brothers and sisters that are coming home from prison and giving them that opportunity, because for far too long, I've watched these kids, I've watched these young men and these young women come home looking for opportunities, man. And I know you get it, Tracey. They come to you, man. Folks come home with the high hopes of doing the right thing. you leave prison, you know, you got a few folks that leave prison with that criminal mindset that think that they can go out there and do it better this time, and they have the master plan and all that other stuff, only to find out that that master plan doesn't work.
Absolutely.
But I've also sat down and heard the stories of our brothers and sisters that are coming home that want to do the right thing, man, that want that second chance.
Yes.
They're just looking for an opportunity to get into the workforce and get out there and take care of their family. But all too often, reality hits. When you can't get a job and you go for an interview and they bring up your record, or they tell you you can't get the job because you don't have your driver's license. Your driver's license was taken because of a drug charge, and you can't get your driver's license back because you need $6,000, and you can't get $6,000 because you can't get a job. So that vicious cycle continues and continues. So I've seen too many brothers and sisters come home and get trapped in that vicious cycle. So what we're doing and what I love about what we're doing is that ability to give people that second chance.
And that's what you're doing. You even giving me a second chance, and I'm gonna tell you why. From the book you wrote, and from the example you put forth, because I'm building a legacy for my grandchildren.
Absolutely.
And my oldest grandson, I sat him in the chair in my office one day, and he just sat there, and he was just spinning around in the chair. And I said, I'm building a legacy for you. And he was 10 at the time. And when he was leaving out the office, my chief of staff was standing in the doorway. And I heard him whisper to her, what's the legacy? And that's true. That's true. She explained it to him. And then I had a meeting like 10 minutes later in the next room. And I took him in the meeting. And he didn't speak one word. He just sat there like watching a tennis match. Because you should bring him up early, let him see business being conducted. I just had a meeting with a gentleman, and he asked me a question about my statistics, successful rate. And I understand that, but they don't understand some things you can't put a statistic on.
Oh, absolutely.
When someone come up to you that you didn't even know exists, but because of your actions and your generosity and your character said you changed my life, thank you. How do you put a statistic on that?
You can't.
You can't. Because this is a mission that you can't put down. Because I done tried it, you done tried it, and it don't work. Because this is what God put in your heart and your soul to do. And like-minded people do like-minded things. So I say this, you know, how do you feel about politics merging with reentry?
Well, you know, and I tell people this all the time. You know, as you know, I was very heavy in politics in my city of Trenton, particularly in the 3 mayor races that we have, because I believe that everything that we have in our community is a direct result of policies of politicians. The good and the bad is policies set forth by politicians that determines how that community operates. So I recognize that if we're not making that connection with the political base, if we're not becoming a force to be reckoned with when it comes to having politicians that represent our interests, then we're losing. That is the greatest opportunity we have. That doesn't cost us anything but a vote, an opportunity to listen to someone. So if we can take our vote and put our vote and the power of our vote behind the right candidate that believes in reentry, that believes in smart on crime initiatives, that doesn't believe that we can continue to lock our way out of this problem, that's what we need to support. So you can get these politicians that come in and say, oh, well, we're going to be tough on crime. We're going to hire 30 more cops. Well, I've heard that story in the 80s. I've heard that story in the 90s. You know what I mean? And we keep getting the same results using that same mindset.
Absolutely.
So we need politicians, and we need to support politicians that think outside the box.
So tell me about your entrepreneurship program.
Well, you know, Tracey, part of the being a White House champion of change, one of the things that we talked about in 2014 was between all the 12 champions, what was the things that you felt would be best needed in our communities that would change some lives? And I mentioned entrepreneurship because entrepreneurship changed my life. So after the White House in 2014, I went back and hooked up with a partner who's taught entrepreneurship for close to 30 years, who's created a nonprofit that went from $0 to $28 million before he stepped down and resigned. So I partnered with him to come up with Reentry Ventures, which is an online entrepreneurship course that teaches returning citizens how to start and run a business. So we took our first pilot program and did it for DC, and you came down and spoke to our
Absolutely.
students in DC and had an opportunity to tell them what you're doing on the nonprofit side. But that gave me an opportunity to get in the classroom with 15 individuals that came from where I came from. You know what I mean? So the beauty of our course and the way we teach the course is that we have my partner CJ Meaning, who's a 30-year instructor and teacher of entrepreneurship, partnered into a classroom with me, who's a 22-year successful entrepreneur, but has a reentry background. So he's able to get in classroom and give our students the academics, the business plan, you come up with a marketing plan, you go to the bank, you get a loan, and you start business. But in reality, Tracey, that's not gonna happen. You gotta get out there and hustle just like we've always hustled. You know, I talk about, I didn't get my first loan when I wrote from the block to the board, but I didn't get my first loan until 5 years after being in business. I had to hustle for everything that I got and everything that I was able to build up, as far as working 2 jobs, doing side jobs, saving my money, investing in my business and building it up before I went to the bank. So teaching entrepreneurship and coming up with this course has been a great thing for me, because even out of the DC class that you spoke to,
Right.
we have a brother, Visions of Winning, just got a $45,000 loan, just got 3 vans he just put on the road, paratransit business. He's in a wheelchair. He identified the problem in DC that he had getting around DC.
Oh, I remember him.
Yes, sir.
I remember
And
him.
he in business today, man. Just talk to
Tell
him
him I need a
yesterday.
loan. I told him how to get up and walk.
So he-
Why in a wheelchair?
Nah, so he's doing it, man.
That's
I'm so
cool.
proud of him. And as a young lady, Melissa, who has an accounting background, she's
Oh, that's the slim lady.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember her.
She started her bookkeeping business, and she's doing speaking engagements on reentry. So, you know, to watch our students, and all of them, you know, didn't do this. You know, it was a handful of them. But the thing is that if he's able to be successful with the Proud Transit business, say he's able to hire 13 people.
Absolutely.
So the whole class is taken care of by
Absolutely.
one person winning. So that's what the entrepreneurship piece is all about. And I think it's very important that we continue to teach our brothers and sisters how to fish for themselves.
And being that out Washington, now the new elected president, Donald Trump, a lot of people have different views and opinion of Donald Trump. Me personally, he's the president, he's there, you gotta work with him.
Oh, absolutely, for the next
So
4 years.
how do you feel about that?
Well, you know, it's the same thing with me, Tracey. You know, Malcolm X said it best. He said that he's willing to work with anybody that's willing to change this miserable condition that our people are in. So it doesn't matter who's in office. And I always felt like this. As you know, I'm a registered independent. I don't do party politics. I don't believe party politics has represented the black community to the utmost and to its full potential. So as an independent voter, I look at a candidate just the same way I look at anyone that's running for office. Is what you're gonna do for my people. And that's what it comes down to. So, you know, we have a guy, Donald Trump, in office, a businessman. I'm a businessman. The fact of the matter is that I look at it like this. It's 2 groups of 2 parties. One party, you can appeal to their conscience, to the human side of their emotions. When you look at reentry and folks that are coming home and not getting that second chance and not being able to get their foot back into society. And then you have another party that believes in the economics of it. Well, the fact of the matter is that we spend $56,000 per year to house an inmate, a nonviolent inmate in the state of New Jersey. So as a taxpayer, where's my return on my investment? Because I'm investing $56,000 a year in that person. So you have 2 competing parties, and I just feel as though with Donald Trump in office for the next 4 years, we just gotta switch up how we approach this.
Yeah.
Now let's approach it from an economic standpoint.
Exactly.
How do we save this, what's become a trillion, more than $1 trillion a year industry of incarceration? How do we cut that money and redirect that money back into urban communities across this country? And I think that's what we need to talk about.
And I try to tell individuals that I deal with in my program as well, this is a corporate America.
Absolutely.
This is a corporate America. Stop making it personal. This
Oh, yeah.
is business.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't have a business mentality, you're going to get left behind.
Absolutely.
Because you're approaching it with personal.
Emotions.
So now emotions is in the way, so you really is blind. So you don't see what's coming. If you had that business mentality, you can actually know the bottom line is the bottom line.
Absolutely.
And this is what it's about.
Right.
So let me end this with this. You have a lot of judges that's up for re-election. Also, you have individuals that's never been a judge that's running for judge. What are the qualifications you think they should display?
Well, judges have a lot of power when it comes to the criminal justice system, and then when I look at, and I'm gonna give you an example. When I look at mandatory minimums, a lot of that power that judges used to have was taken away doing mandatory minimums, because they get a guy, you, me, in front of them. It doesn't matter what you have done, what your background was, what family you grew up, what school you went to, what job you had before you went in front of that judge. That mandatory minimum is going to make him sentence you to a sentence that basically that's what he has to do. So he don't get a chance to look at the human side. So I'm looking at judges who are running for election, whether it's in Philadelphia or anywhere, is that we have to look at these judges and see where their mindset is when it comes to reentry, and how do they view the criminal justice system. Do they view the criminal justice system as something that's working now or something that's not working now? And I can submit to you that the criminal justice system that we have in place right now is not working. So if it's not working, as a judge running for that same office, what is your plans to change this system? Because we can't be electing anybody into office that can continue to do the same thing that we've always done.
Continue the cycle.
No, we can't do it. So, returning citizens have a great opportunity with their voting rights to be able to make serious change in the political landscape, whether it's in judges, mayors, councilmen in their ward, because all politics are local. We can talk about what's happening on the national stage, but the fact of the matter is that where the rubber hits the road at is in communities with judges, councilmen, and mayors all across the country. And DAs, absolutely.
And so with that being said, I always sign off with a signature question. What's your company worth now?
Not enough. Not enough, Tracey. Where I've come from, and you know this, it's never enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think I can do a lot more with a successful business making millions than I can without it.
Absolutely.
So we're going to continue to do just that, and in return, be able to be a social entrepreneur, one who thinks more of a holistic approach to your whole community versus what is going to be done for me. Right. So I've always approached business like that. It's not about me, it's not about my company, it's about what we can do as a community.
So give your information on how you can be reached.
Once again, the website is www.F as in Frank, T as in Tom, B as in Boyd, the number 2, T as in Tom, B as in Boyd.com. That's from the block to the boardroom.com. Or you can email me at ftb2tbllc@gmail.com, or you can reach us at our office at 609-989-0111.
And thank you. Once again, I'm Tracey L. Fisher, Reentry Point of View, and I'm here with the other Tracey D. Syphax, TNT in the building.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you.